Ubisoft. So often focused on the wrong things. They're back at it once again with NFTs, as if their Quartz bullshit didn't utterly and epically fail hard enough as it is. You may recall when this was announced a year ago, back in December 7th, 2021, or I should say about a year and a half ago. I mean, the likes to dislikes ratio speaks for itself, with just 1.7 thousand likes versus a whopping 45,000 dislikes. And Ubisoft tried to justify this in an interview where they talked about how frustrated they are that people just don't understand Ubisoft's vision for NFTs. You'll find choice quotes like, "We know it's not an easy concept to grasp. Our belief is that piece by piece, the puzzle will be revealed and understood by our players. If a product has to be solved like a puzzle to understand its benefits, then it's not a good product." Ubisoft expressed that they're a bit frustrated that consumers won't just consume anything that Ubisoft throws at them. "I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring to them. Ubisoft is treating us like we're idiots, like this is all too much for us to comprehend, but one day they will. But no, we comprehend exactly what this is, and it's because of that comprehension that we know that we should stay as far away from this as possible, and that this does not belong in gaming, because this is just trying to turn gaming into essentially an alternative stock market." But according to Ubisoft, what we're seeing is the end game, giving players the opportunity to resell their items once they're finished with them. I don't want video games to become a freaking economy. I don't want them to become a secondary job. I want to play video games to escape from that kind of reality where I have to concern myself with real-life financial implications. But according to Ubisoft, it's really for them, the players. It's really beneficial, we promise. But they don't get it for now. Those morons, those fools. One day they'll see. But it's like Ubisoft can't actually even explain it to us. They're just trying to push this out there and hope that people participate so that they can push this fad along. They even describe NFTs the same way they described microtransactions and loot boxes. They're totally optional. At no point will we force our players to use chords and digits. And when you see quotes like this, you realize the kind of landscape that NFTs are trying to shape video games into. Owning a percentage of a huge ecosystem might be more interesting than just owning a game today. Games shouldn't be about managing your finances and your portfolio and owning a percentage of an ecosystem. It should just be about having fun and immersing yourself in artistry and stories and all of the amazing things that gaming can offer. But of course, Ubisoft executives don't seem to care about that. What they seem to be pursuing is the play-to-earn model that is about allowing players to make their own money by adding value to the whole ecosystem. Ugh, get out of here with that crap. And it's not just players and consumers who are saying this. Developers don't understand Ubisoft's push for NFTs and are worried about having to put NFTs in their games. You got headlines like this: Ubisoft's latest Galaxy Brain move is to gift scammy NFTs to employees as part of some anniversary. And guess what? Those employees were like, we don't want this crap. This doesn't really feel like a cool gift. Survey says developers are definitely not interested in crypto or NFTs. The majority of game developers have no interest in NFTs, survey finds, and 70% have no interest in cryptocurrency as a payment tool. Even the French Union came out and just straight up said that Ubisoft's NFT scheme is useless, costly, ecologically mortifying. But of course, Ubisoft executives don't care about any of that feedback because their goal is to continuously find new gimmicks that they can shoehorn into games to seek new monetization avenues because they're desperate for that infinite growth. So despite all of the backlash, negative sentiments, and criticism surrounding Ubisoft's pursuit for NFTs, Ubisoft's boss continues to tell employees that NFTs are just the beginning. This is despite the fact that there is plenty of evidence out there that there's a woeful lack of interest for NFTs. Back in December of 2021, it became apparent that buying, selling, and trading of Ubisoft Quartz NFTs were very low. There was just not a whole lot of activity there, suggesting a complete lack of interest. Eventually, Ubisoft unceremoniously ended their Ghost Recon Breakpoint NFT Pursuits. They had a backpedal on their enthusiasm by claiming that their pursuit for NFTs, they weren't going all in on it. It was just research, we promise. And nobody believes them, which is why headlines say things like, Ubisoft is pretending it was never really that interested in NFTs. Before, the tone was, NFTs will revolutionize gaming. You need this in your life, gamers. And then in September of 2022, the tone became, we'll see if NFTs really answer the players' needs. There's no other way to put it. Ubisoft Quartz NFTs failed epically. But Ubisoft doesn't want to stop there. Their next pursuit is a combination of physical figurines that also have blockchain and NFTs integrated in them. And the gimmick this time, and yes, it somehow gets stupider, is that what you'll be buying with these NFTs are digital souls of Assassin's Creed characters. I wish I were joking. As PC Gamer's headline here reads, Ubisoft wants to sell you Ezio's digital soul, and yes, it's an NFT. New Assassin's Creed themed collectibles live in little plastic cubes and also on the blockchain. Here's a Video Games Chronicle article that goes into further detail. This was in partnership with Integral Reality Labs, which created this whole collectibles product line and system. And it involves NFT digital souls, which represent characters from the Assassin's Creed series. Each will have rare and unique outfits and weapons as part of this app, where I guess you're collecting NFTs and they're trying to gamify this a little bit. But really, the whole quote-unquote gameplay of this whole pursuit is essentially the economy that they're trying to establish here. And what's frustrating about this is that the collectible concept, the physical aspect of it, is actually pretty cool, but it is mandatory to buy NFTs in order to receive the physical figurine, this cube with the figurine inside it. As Video Games Chronicle explains here, first you have to buy a digital soul NFT, and only after then will you be able to customize the digital soul NFT and then order a 3D printed physical version of their character in a glass cube. I can't just buy those collectibles with dollars. I have to engage with blockchain and NFTs, and it just sucks because I might consider buying them if I could just pay one sum and then just have the physical figurine somewhere back there in my shrine of nerdiness. Companies keep talking about the benefits of NFTs, but all they've been doing is adding extra step to processes to make things more inconvenient, to force players and to force consumers into participating in this economic ecosystem that corporations hope to benefit from by encouraging this Ponzi scheme, this pyramid scheme. This collectible cube, the physical version, will contain a chip which can be scanned and authenticated and will also be able to interact with a companion app. Reality Labs will also be selling 1,500 pieces of Eden Passes, which give users access to exclusive drops, a unique limited edition digital soul, and a way to jump to the head of the line to get your physical smart collectible printed. I'm assuming that Eden Passes are also NFTs, and in this microcosm of a gamified economic system that they're trying to establish, they essentially give you a leg up. They give you some unique items, and also you get to skip the line to get the actual physical smart collectible, to get this thing right here. There's a Kotaku article that delves into even further details. So the headline of this article reads, Assassin's Creed NFTs are coming, and oh god, why? As Mr. Krabs likes to say, money! This article delves deeper into the app aspect of this whole scheme. There's going to be an app you can download to activate the characters' digital souls and take them on a journey where they can, quote, complete achievements and level up your account to earn and unlock items, recipes, and loot boxes within the app. So on top of these cool physical figurines being locked behind blockchain and NFTs, on top of them demanding that you participate in that shady ecosystem to receive the physical figurine itself, which is what's more desirable than the freaking NFT, all this also ties into scummy loot boxes and typical mobile gaming BS. These NFTs, by the way, are specifically for this companion app. They will in no way, shape, or form interact with the games themselves. Ubisoft is hardly even involved beyond licensing the brand, says Kotaku, but it doesn't change the fact that Ubisoft knows exactly who they're licensing the Assassin's Creed IP to. This is very much a push to try to normalize NFTs so they can try to slowly but surely integrate them into games, just as how microtransactions and loot boxes slowly inchworm their way into being normalized. And I really would not like to let this happen. And plenty of others around the web agree. In fact, there is this The Gamer article titled, Ubisoft, Nobody's Asking for NFT Figurines. So many people don't want to go through the hassle of having to deal with NFTs and blockchain to get these figurines. Others don't want to encourage this ecosystem, so they'll stay as far away as possible from this ecosystem. The Gamer also explains how all of this works based on information that they obtained from the website's FAQ, which says that these collectibles are different from NFTs because they have physical and digital components. Man, talk about copium. The NFTs are still just NFTs housed within the chip that has the digital data of the NFTs. But it's like the whole point of these figurines is they look cool. People don't want to own them for digital benefits or whatever. They just want a cool figurine that they can put up somewhere on a shelf. Like, I don't buy amiibos for the potential benefits that tapping them during gameplay of one of Nintendo's first-party games could grant. I buy the amiibos because they look cool and I pick and choose what I want based on my own preferences. Like, the appeal of everything that I have behind me is that I like their aesthetic. I like the fact that I have physical representations of things that I love in video games because I love these worlds, these characters, and adding a barrier to owning something that actually is pretty cool, the physical collectible that is, it's a disservice to the whole idea of physical collectibles, which actually have value. They actually inhabit a space and can decorate your room, whereas digital NFTs and the JPEGs that they link to or whatever, you can just save those images or take a screenshot. And that's the beauty of a digital environment, is that there is no scarcity of data, of information, but NFTs aim to create artificial scarcity to try to give digital assets that can be infinitely replicated monetary value through scarcity. It's just, we're going backwards here. Anyway, the article continues. The physical components is tied to the same blockchain address as the digital soul through authentic vision and NFC tags. The way it works is that you buy a piece of Eden Pass, customize your digital soul traits, which are just an outfit, weapon, and pose, and they ship you a 3D printed figure. And then through the companion app, you can awaken your smart collectible, complete achievements, level up, and follow recipes to make more smart collectibles. The higher your rarity tier, oh god, the more traits you have access to, and it looks like you have to pay more for a higher tier. Of course you do. And then finally, they explain the harm that NFTs have caused, from environmental damage to huge losses of money. A lot of people getting scammed. We've seen horror stories and warnings from people who were told to put all their money into NFTs and then they lost it all. This is the kind of crap that Ubisoft is encouraging, while also growing stale in their creative ideas for the AAA titles that they've been shipping recently, which all seem to use the same Ubisoft open world blueprint that's getting very tired. And Web3 is something that Ubisoft also is pushing for, which is why they recently created Rabbit's NFTs to be integrated in the sandbox metaverse. And I use quotes for the term metaverse because it's just a glorified video game with a buzzword attached to it. A video game that's centered around this concept of play to earn, about trading and trying to make money, which only few will hit the jackpot from, while everyone else is left with financial losses. And further highlighting that Ubisoft executives are running out of ideas and are resorting to desperate measures to make money is the fact that recently it was reported that the company did not perform well during the last fiscal year. Their lineup of releases was meager, and they just didn't sell as well as they liked. And so their net sales were $1.97 billion this fiscal year, down 14.6% from last year, which is not insignificant. And this resulted in an operating loss of roughly $543 million. Now, the one thing that somewhat kept them financially afloat is the Assassin's Creed franchise, especially with the live service monetization stuff that they've implemented. Ubisoft has stated that it intends to increase the number of people working on the franchise by 40% in the coming years to fuel its ambitious expansion. Ubisoft's solution to their current financial woes is throw more Assassin's Creed out there. And man, I'm starting to get sick of it. I'm starting to get sick of Assassin's Creed at this point, with the frequency at which they are trying to release these titles, factory churning them out. And just the fact that each new entry doesn't really evolve enough to keep the series from growing stale, to keep the series fresh. Whereas a company like Nintendo, they'll take 6 years to make a sequel to a game like Breath of the Wild, and they'll push the boundaries of their creativity and the game mechanics and the expansion of the world and what you can do in it so much that, you know, it makes the previous game feel like a prototype. Whereas with Ubisoft, it just feels like iterative steps that don't add a whole lot to the IP. As far as we know right now, Ubisoft currently has at least 6 new Assassin's Creed entries in the long-running series in development, and they do have other projects going on like X Defiant and whatnot, but nothing that really sparks a fire within me, you know? I guess we'll find out what else they plan to release by April of 2024, because according to Ubisoft, their goal is to release 8 games by then, and hopefully there will be enough variety and quality standards to revitalize what has been just a stale past couple of years. There's so little interest surrounding their games, I feel, compared to other publishers that are turning out some really cool and awesome video games and really pushing the boundaries of what they can do with their IPs. Ubisoft, I feel, is just falling behind, and them focusing this much on NFTs and Web3 and all this crap that has no business being a part of games with their current implementation, and them just being distracted by these endeavors that are more detrimental than beneficial, that's not going to help them much. Or at the very least, that's one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on the current state of Ubisoft and their continuous pursuit for some way to integrate NFTs and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions. Stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.